תל אביב 360, ערוץ הפודקאסטים של אוניברסיטת תל אביב.
Hi, this is Eric Saranovitz. I'm the director of the Global Engagement Office at Coller School of Management at the Tel Aviv University. I work in coordination with the LAHAV, which runs the Open Doing Business in Israel, also known as DBI. And I have with me two fabulous students who have joined the spring/summer DBI, and they'll introduce themselves.
Thanks,
Sabrina.
Eric. Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina Rodriguez. I am a part-time remote student through the MBA at UNC, or University of North Carolina, Keenan Flagler Business School. I am a full-time program manager over at Facebook, or now known as Meta. Really excited about this opportunity. Thank you so much for having us. And I'll pass it over.
Hi, Eric. This is Wang Mingxi from China. I'm part-student MBA student of Hong Kong University of Science and Technology, and I am 2020 intake. This is my last section of my MBA journey. I'm really glad to be in Israel and to see this great city and country here. And really, thanks for having me here. Thanks.
Well, I'm always glad to see students coming to Israel. And I just learned, I was very excited to hear that for both of you, this is the grand finale of your MBA programs.
Yes.
So you're kicking off your MBA with, not kicking off, you're finishing up your MBA with a trip to Israel. So let me ask you, how did you hear about the DBI program? And probably more importantly, what got you interested in coming?
Yeah, absolutely. So DBI program has been consistent for UNC KFBS. And actually, I found out about it through my research alongside with my orientation. So I knew that I did not have the opportunity to study abroad during my undergrad. So I was very committed to participating in such a program. And so when I did find out that Tel Aviv was coming up on as like the next location, I hopped on it immediately. Yeah.
Mingxi?
Yes, and I saw this exchange program in my last session for my university to give me this opportunity. So I have any doubt. I just take it as my last part of my MBA journey. And I heard the Tel Aviv, this city, quite famous on the news. So I want to try it in person. So that's why, with any hesitation, I just apply and have here.
So that brings me to my next question is, what got you interested in coming to Israel at all? I mean, as you said, there's many different DBIs across the world, but you came specifically to this one. You said that you've always been interested in Israel, but what has it been that's attracted you?
Yeah, for me, it was the just the history, right? You hear so much about the influence of Israel in just religion as well as just in politics and government. But more importantly, Tel Aviv, working across like big tech, across majority of my career at this point, we always had like heavy presence in Tel Aviv. I had partners and cross-functional, like counterparts that were in Tel Aviv, and I've never, got the opportunity to fly over there. And so it always just amazed me that like it is one of the bigger, incubators for startups as well as technology. It is a force to reckon with. And so I thought that this was the greatest opportunity for me.
Because Israel is quite a young country, so it is quite famous for its entrepreneurship. Maybe someday I will be an entrepreneur, so maybe I could find some insight in this program. So that's why I came here. I come here to find something new to me. Yeah.
Okay. So tell me, what are some of the things that you've learned about entrepreneurship and the Israeli ecosystem since you've been here that you didn't know?
Yeah. So I think that it's a common, thought that, Tel Aviv, Israel, is the place to start up, right? And so our main focus, throughout this program was how do we move from startup to scale? And definitely one of the bigger concerns that I think that a lot of business leaders as well as like entrepreneurs do not think of, and so it was for me at least, like, one of the bigger ideas that I had carry on. And then just seeing like, some of um, the companies that we were able to visit, and to think that how much like influence they have, across like the ecosystem, the technology ecosystem in general. um, I certainly underestimated it until coming here. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I think the main point from I learned that is the innovative spirit that which
Hmm.
I learned in the class in the lectures, because only you should have your unique spirit, your unique innovation, then you can conquer everything, conquer the wars maybe. So this is the unique spirit you can learn from this lecture, from this our journey actually. Yeah.
yeah. And then, so you've met a lot of different people. Like so far, the professors, the instructors, the people you've met. What's your impression compared to like what you're used to, either in the U.S. or in Hong Kong?
Yeah. I'll say that like innovation starts from a very young age. I didn't think of it like that, right? Because at least for me, being in US, actually, based out of New York,
Mm,
innovation is just a term that you use like, across like, school as well as companies. But the thought of like innovation really starts in primary school in Israel. And that's what like, really brought me to like the intention that, oh wow, like there is so many levels and facets where that can be leveraged. And I'm excited to like, bring this back to home, and see what influences and how ways like, my community can continue to, innovate at like a earlier age.
mm, interesting.
The most impressive lectures that I have learned is the General Bahan. He talked about the
Yeah.
mistake that actually everybody trying to avoid mistake and afraid of making mistakes.
Hmm.
But he told us that try your best to do not let the biggest mistake you can make to do that. And then try to do not repeat your mistakes.
Hmm.
This is 2 points that I have learned. Yes. Yeah, from the all up till now, the lecture I have learned, I think this is the most impressive one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you made any mistakes since you've been in Israel?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
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 What?
I forgot. I remember the wrong ticket number of my flights. I have to change during the Dubai. Oh my goodness, this is the big mistake, I think. But
Yeah.
I won't let it happen again.
Sabrina?
Mistakes that I have made. I think it's just like, again, underestimating like, the power of communication, right? And so um, s- there are no like, I think it's very cliche to say, but it is very true in this sense, right? There are no dumb questions, and so there are some times where I had hesitated in the very beginning to ask questions, simply because like I just thought that it would come off offensive,
Mm,
just questioning like, a business model. And when as the conversation just became more fluid and like natural, it is actually expected of us, right? And so I thought that like that was not of the cultural norm.
mm,
And then also another great thing that I thought Americans were just the ones with like that kind of humor. Well, at least New York,
uh-huh.
right? And it's so welcome to have like, to see like the Jewish humor, and it's even like highlighted in the museums as well. And so I was really, really, really like, excited and appreciated that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, New York and Israel have a lot in common. So.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So what have been the highlights? You already mentioned a couple, but what else have been highlights of the program?
I think the first day we went to the museum. This is
Hmm.
my first time that I saw a great history of Israeli people. Really, they have the long history. Even the most impressive one for me, the Hebrew, the language. You guys realize, gave the second life of this language.
Right.
This is really impressive. And during the visit the museum, I saw a lot of famous celebrities that is coming from Israel. That is, yeah, Julius. because you know that I love American culture and they have a great impact on the whole world, right? So
Yeah.
that's why when I was a teenager, I love Paul Simon and Garfunkel. They are my favorite store. But when I go to the museum, wow, they are coming from Israel as well. They are the Jewish. Wow, amazing, really. Well,
Yeah.
that's really I really surprised. And yeah.
Yeah, even like the museum, what I've really found was fascinating was that there's the range, right, of like is really up to free will, like on how like religious you would like to be within that spectrum. Um, as a Christian, like I think that we have so many denominations, right? But like everyone is kind of like, or depending on which denomination you are, you really just have like, that quote unquote Catholic guilt sometime that I may sometime experience. But you really do have like that, in the Jewish culture, you have that and it's embraced, right? And so I really welcome, just hearing that. And it made more sense as to like, sometimes when I do walk around, my neighborhood and also just, friends that I recognize that there's some folks that, whole follow Shabbat, right? And then there's others that follow like, more of like the bigger holidays. And so, yeah, that was one. Another was a talk on like the military,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And so I found that was fascinating that as we spoke about mistakes, right, like within the military, first and foremost, that like it is required for everyone to serve in the military post high school and before they go to college. And I thought that
Yeah.
was really great influence. And the one of the talks that we had was that learning from mistakes, right, and like focusing on the lesson learned, not
Yes.
duplicate. And I thought that in such a restricted and like high profile like space in industry and focus of work, that you would have that leverage. And just hearing how it relates all the way back to like some of the values and like the, I will say, like the process that we have in product development and like big tech, that it can be scaled to like the government. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know you had a trip to a kibbutz.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How was that? Let's see.
Well.
Did you know what a kibbutz was before you
Yeah.
came?
Yes, I
you
know
did,
that.
okay.
Yes.
I did not.
You did not?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, I know that, and it really impressed me. I think the community there is really quiet and innovative. Actually, they have their own ideas and they have their people that have the relationship that's quite special. I think modern people have they're not kind of feeling, because every evening we just go to each home, right? But they share a lot of things in common, and this spirit is really impressive.
Yeah. I think that the evolution of the kibbutz has certainly been something that I was fascinated with. To think that like it is still focused on community, right, and that's very important and to its core. But moving from like embracing facets of individuality nowadays, has certainly like come as like an influence as well. When we were going to the kibbutz, so we first learned that like they like residents did not necessarily at first own their homes, and now they
Yeah.
own their homes. There is also like free will to explore other opportunities and other locations and live more in the city if they do find that to be more appealing to them. And so I did not think that. I thought like at first that like you once you are in a resident of the kibbutz, like you have to stay there for life. And so I thought when I learned that, right, and then seeing so many people with across like the community just come together for lunch, right, it honestly was just like, oh wow, this is really great, and having that sense of security as well, and learning, and like you have like a larger family than just your immediate family. Yeah. So
And on the kibbutz, they had a netafim.
yes.
I forgot the word in English.
Yes.
Factory.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
yes, we
not a
went to
difficult
there.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw the high tech, right?
Yeah.
We saw the flowers even without the land, right? Only hanging on the air and has the soil, how to say the nutritions, right?
Mhm.
Right.
And there, just to suck it is okay. Wow, that's incredible. The high technology that I have never seen before.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. For like, I guess traditionally kibbutz had been focused more on agriculture, right? And so, looking at like the irrigation and how like the evolution of that, and now like they're focused on like, other facets of technology. And one of the greater things that I did see was that they have like really focus on like just the irrigation, like and not being as wasteful, right? And so like the water comes directly into the plants, right, rather than spreading all over to like barren locations. And I think that was wiseful. I hoping that like other places can adopt that method as well.
Yeah.
Curious to know like if more places around the world were to do the same, right? How can we like approach conservatism and also just like be in a healthier environment and sustainable environment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're interested in it too.
absolutely.
With all you still have a couple more days, so you're still learning things. But like, what are some of the things about entrepreneurship and innovation that you think you'll already be able to take back home?
For me, this has always been like part of I think part of part of like my thought in terms of like should we ship, should we not, is what is the value rather than the output, right? Like who are we influencing, who is our audience, making sure that we are really defining and meeting those customer needs. And I think that when we look across all of the companies that are within technology, somewhere along the way, as we had like the industry had decided to scale, we kind of ignored that. And it's been very consistent across Israel, across Tel Aviv companies. And so I will love to bring that back, right? And bring that influence and even show these, a lot of these companies that we all are aware of, right? Like PayPal, for one, was founded by one of the, Tel Aviv students. And to have that influence and share those success stories can certainly bring, more adopters along the way and more listeners along the way.
For me, maybe being innovative and do not afraid of making mistakes is
Yeah.
also 2 points that I should share when I come back home my country. Yes,
Yeah.
because if you always copy to others, you can always follow their steps. You should have create your own step to let others to maybe to follow you, and maybe everybody making mistakes. Do not being afraid of that. You should try to embrace the mistake, but do not make it happen again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
I heard this come up a few times, this idea of like making mistakes and learning from them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just definitely one of those things that we have always been taught to do almost, right? Or said that it's encouraged to do, right? But we don't necessarily do it, right? Like a lot of us are, and I say a lot of us meaning like just people in general, it's easier to just go with the flow rather than against the grain. But it's through, those disruptive, like, innovations that have made like, the world a much, more impactful place and, and brought that, I guess you can say democracy around the world. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how much time you have in the afternoons.
Yeah, well, we usually have a jam-packed schedule.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
usually the day starts around like 8 local time. We have breaks in between, but we're meeting with companies, we're meeting
Yes.
with speakers. We have like, lectures on campus throughout the afternoon.
Yeah.
And then we usually have like an offsite or like a dinner plan. So
Yeah.
it's a jam-packed schedule for sure, but I think like within like we have about 3 days left.
Hmm.
It's a little lighter for today and tomorrow, and then
Yes.
our last day we end with dinner in Jerusalem. So
Jerusalem, yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be a jam-packed day, but I'm super excited about.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
We even went to the Jaffa. Wow, that is a city for 4,000 years, right?
Yes.
Wow, I touched the metal, the stone. Wow, that's 4,000 years ago at least. Wow, they created this city.
Right.
Wow, this is really amazing experience for me.
Yeah. We also had dinner in the dark.
Yeah,
Which
we have dinner in the dark. We cannot see anything. We only can hear people talking. And when the food is on, I don't know where is my food, and I don't know what it taste will be like. I don't know where is my bread. I don't know where is my water. I even
Right.
pour my water on my feet, actually.
Really?
I don't know where is the edge of the table, actually.
So what's the concept behind the
Yeah.
dinner in the dark?
So dinner in the dark, it is actually in Port Jaffa, I believe, right?
Yeah.
And that was really to just open our eyes to like,
Interesting expression.
yeah, right. Pun unintended, but like essentially it really is true. Open your eyes to how those with disability, particularly those that are blind or deaf, right, or both, like have really just continue to work and continue to enjoy all the things that we may take for granted, right, like dining, dinner as well, and so the concept is that like you essentially like you walk into the restaurant or the place, and then you sit in like a table, and it is noted on which table you're sitting at and the orientation of your seat to the table. You make your dinner requests, or like you select from a prefix menu,
Yes.
and then you are taken into a room that is completely dark. It is similar to if you close your eyes or have like a blindfold, right? You really can see. So you're relying on, those that are in front of you. You're relying on your waiter or server, as well as your hostess as well, to entrust that and you entrusting them that they will give you that full dining experience. And so for me it was a little like it was certainly like something that I had to like really pivot because it heightened my sensory, like my auditory as well, like everything felt immediately loud, whereas and then like for me, like you have to really trust the person that you were, because you don't know, like you have to like put like your finger in the water or in the pitcher before you like put it in your cup. And so I was just like, oh my goodness, hopefully they don't like put their entire hand in the water.
Sounds like Ming-Si wasn't very
Yes, when I sat down, the first thing is, where's my phone? Oh, they locked my phone in the locker.
Yes, yes, you do have to lock your phone.
Yeah, you have to spend at least 30 minutes to spend a life without phone, right?
Yeah.
Well, I cannot get used to that, actually.
Yeah.
I always want to find my phone. I want to see what's happening on the phone, right? But I have no phone right now. Well, I have to talk to the people next to me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm just like, I guess those that are like the food influencers or like the foodies, you can't take a picture of your phone.
Yeah.
So be mindful. But if you're a true foodie at heart, like the flavors and just the experience is enjoyable. Sometimes you just have to live in the moment rather than capture it.
Yeah,
That's a very Israeli sentiment, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
What I want, how's it been? I know you have people from the U.S., from Canada, from Europe. Do you have Europeans?
No, we don't have
No Europeans.
Australians,
Australia and
yeah.
Hong Kong.
Hong Kong and Chile, yes.
In Chile.
Yeah.
How's it been in terms of like the group dynamics, meeting new people from different places?
I think like the sentiments that we had received from like administration and our leaders was that we essentially like we became like a tight-knit group very quickly.
Yeah.
during the first 2 days, we had a lot of like icebreaker moments that were
Yes.
like designed and implemented in our schedule. But the first one was like a cooking class, I believe. But
Oh,
even
yes.
before the cooking
Yeah,
class,
that is
yeah,
quite amazing, right?
yeah,
Because before I came there, I saw the schedules. We
hmm
saw that we have a section that we should cook by ourselves, right?
right,
Well, I think that should be a disaster. Really.
yeah.
But turned out we did a really amazing job.
We did.
Really.
The food was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. What did you make?
We made traditional dinner,
Yeah.
Israeli dinner. So like we had falafel, we
Yeah.
we
Ah.
actually baked our own pita,
Yeah.
our own challah.
Well, I did a local food called kebab, right? Kebab,
Mhm.
Yes.
the meat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah, quite good.
Shout out to you. Like that was really good.
I did that.
That was actually one of my favorite part
Yeah,
of my dish. Yeah.
yeah, the evening and the song they are playing,
Mhm.
really, the atmosphere is quite no boundaries and quite relaxing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Highly recommend.
yeah, really
Um,
nice.
but yeah, like even before those like moments and like that, the dinner, like folks thought like we were all coming from the same school because we were just like, super social with each other.
Mm.
We
Yes,
knew most of you like our names already, taking pictures throughout the day.
yeah,
So I'm really grateful, for this opportunity.
yes.
One of the cooler parts was because like I'm in a like, remote program to begin with. I'm studying at UNC from New York. It was also the first time that I met, my peers at the
Mm.
same school.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. So
Oh,
we didn't know either each other, and there's five of us here. Well, four of us,
Ah.
and so it was nice to put a name to their face, and actually and majority of us are actually graduating, or have walked graduation a couple of weeks ago, and this is our last class too.
Amazing.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it came in a very timely
great.
time.
So we have to wrap up. And my last question for you is: when you go home, what are you going to tell people about Israel? Is one thing, but what are you going to tell people about this program?
Take yeah, participate in it.
Yeah, participate.
Yeah, for
Don't,
sure.
yeah, don't miss it. Don't miss it. This is really an opportunity to expand your exposure and to really to open your mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I've heard from folks that this is your first time like flying out of the country. This was also like a boost within their career or a career pivot. No matter what the location is, but doing business in whatever country it is so impactful. To just, your personal life, your corporate life, I'm a huge advocate for like traveling, but definitely partial to like, coming to Israel and coming to Tel Aviv. So if that is an opportunity, I mean, that should not be a question. Definitely take it.
Mm.
You will not regret it.
Well, hopefully we'll see the both of you back here sometime.
Oh, for
Uh,
sure.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Mingxi and Sabrina, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
Aaron.
us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Thank you.